guys. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning. I hope you're feeling fine. I hope you're feeling fine, guys. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, guys. Morning. We're on a budget watch. Yeah? Yeah, man, we're on a budget watch, guys. We're on a budget watch, guys. We're on a budget watch. We want to shout out to the most honorable Faval Williams. Big up yourself, girl. You're going with your thing, eh? Yep. Morning, guys. Morning. How everybody doing? I'm here. I'm here, guys. I'm here. You know. Come on. I'm here, guys. Living color. Sorry, guys. So what's up, guys? Everybody doing? We're going to learn some more about the finance minister this morning. Yeah, man, we're going to learn some stuff about the finance minister this morning. Faval Williams. Guys, remember when you come on, you must subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're on our way to 1 million. The work must continue, guys. The work have to continue, you know what I mean? Yeah, boy. Morning to everybody. When you come in, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're on our way to 1 million. 1 million. Yeah, man. We're on our way to 1 million. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Wonder if we must play the last budget presentation that the most honorable Dr. Nigel did last year. Well, we know as the day gone on. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. We'll figure out that as the day progresses, guys. Good morning, guys. Morning, everybody. If you just joined in, morning, we are on a budget presentation watch. Yeah, man, our first finance woman going to give a tough budget presentation in a election climate, in an election year. The first woman in Jamaica too. We're doing this, guys. Shout out to our women. Our women is moving up under the Jamaica Labour Party. Yeah, man. We don't discriminate. We give our women chances, you know what I mean? To be themselves. That's who we are as a party. Our women come first. We cherish our women. We cherish our women guys over here. You know what I mean? And we cherish our women and we give our women opportunities, you know? No other party in Jamaica, no other political party in Jamaica cherish, you know, and give the woman opportunities like the Jamaica Labour Party. Yeah, man. Everything that we do, we put our woman first in everything. That is the reason why you see so much women want to join the Jamaica Labour Party, because they feel a sense of pride and comfortableness, you know what I mean? You know, when they join the Jamaica Labour Party, they feel that they can express themselves the way how they want to, because the honorable most, the most honorable Dr. Andrew Michael Williams will give them the opportunity to express themselves and to be themselves. You know what I mean? And believe you me, you know, we have some hard working women in other country, you know, man. I tell you, the women they might change the landscape in their politics. They might change the entire landscape in Jamaica. But they might go on some foolishness still, you know, but let me tell you something, just give them time. Give them some time, give our woman some time. They will fix what they need to fix, and they know to. So some things we Jamaicans don't believe in. You understand what I mean? We are God-fearing country. You know? Yeah, man. But you will get it right. And everything we are going to left up to the woman, you know. It's not everything. You know? We are getting the job done. Why not employ more of them? Yeah? You know, if you employ your woman, man, trust me. Give them jobs and make them feel comfortable, make them feel appreciated. You know? Yeah, man. You know, say the woman them supposed to be feel very proud today. Every woman supposed to be proud today. Watching our next woman in Jamaica giving a budget presentation. Yeah, man, men, we need to rise up on a serious note. We need to rise up. When we watch this budget presentation today, I hope it motivates some of us men to stand up and be man. And nobody be no weak jelly back man either. You understand me? I hope so. When we watch the budget presentation today, you know, we rise up and be the man that God called us to be. Too much of us is taking over the human spaces, and the woman that take over the men's spaces. Too much of us, man. We need to rise up as men. We need to rise up as men. You know what I mean? We need to rise up as men and be men. You understand me? I don't know what happened to my. So guys, me go get into who is Faval Williams. So we want to learn some more about anti-favor. You know what I mean? So we're going to get into who is Faval Williams. So let me see. Guys, remember, if you're new, welcome and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know, like it, share it, comment on it, tell a friend about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, tell a friend about it, guys, please. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are on our way to 1 million. The work must continue. Welcome, guys, welcome. Hold on, guys, I'm looking for something here. This thing now, give me no justice. So what this thing I say? Here, God. This thing not updating. They need to update this thing because it now give me the right thing. Not giving me the right thing. Let me visit this. Okay. Okay. It's not, you know, justice enough. Guys, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Morning, 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 everybody. Morning. Hold on, guys.
I am Jamaican.
You are Jamaican.
We are Jamaican and the national.
I'm looking for something here. Alright, man, I get the yes. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Morning. I'm looking for something here. We are now budget presentation watch, guys. That's what we are doing today. That's what we are doing today. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. And as I said earlier, big up to every woman, you know? Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Big up to every one of our women in our society. Yeah, man. You guys help to make Jamaica very proud. Very, very proud. Very, very proud, guys. Somehow this thing not giving me what I'm looking for, yeah? So, guess what? Come out of that. Go into this. I mean, because this thing not giving me what I'm looking for. So guess what? I'm gonna go have some. Go do some. Come here, sir. Okay. Guys, if you're new, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're on our way to 1 million. 1 second, guys. Let me see. Okay, guys, I find what I was looking for. Yeah, man. So, guys, let me introduce you to our new Prudence. Good morning. Welcome. So, guys, let me introduce our finance minister to each and every one. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Me know say the woman them proud this morning, very, very proud. Me I tell you. The woman them very proud this morning, man. I'm happy for your woman, trust me. So our finance minister is Faval Williams. Yeah, man, and she was born in the 28th of May, 1958. Yeah, man, 1958. She's a Jamaican politician who is the Minister of Finance and the Public Service and Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Eastern Constituency. Williams has held multiple ministerial positions, including Ministry of Education and Youth, Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, and Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service. She is the first female to be a minister in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service, and also the first female of science and hey, you Faval Williams, yeah, move, man. You being the first in everything. You create history at Jamaica. He, the first female minister of science and energy and technology. In June 2014, Faval Williams was named a member of the Jamaica Labour Party Economy Advisory Council. Yeah, man, you're going, Faval Williams, boy. You're going. Minister of Education and Youth Information Info. September the 13th of September 2020 to October 2024. Yeah, man. So she held the Minister of Education from the 13th of September 2020 to October the 30th, 2024. Yeah, man. She replaced Carl Samuda, and she was succeeded by Dana Morris Dixon. Yeah, man. She is a member of Parliament for St. Andrew Eastern. You know, she assumed office she resumed office the 16th of February 2016, where she beat Andre Hilton. Yeah, man. And she took office in the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, you know, the 14th of February 2019 to September the 12th, 2020. She was succeeded by. She was in the Ministry of Finance as a minister without portfolio from the 27th of March 2018 to the 13th of February 2019. Yeah, man. And she succeeded Horace Daly. You understand what I mean? Yeah, man. And she hold a lot of position, guys. In September 2020 general election, William was re-elected the House of Representatives as a member of Parliament for Eastern St. Andrew. She was sworn in at a ceremony held at the Jamaica Conference Center on September the 20th to and amend the pandemic. Yeah, man. Williams was first elected as a member of parliament in 2016. Well, maybe saw something. In 2016 general election, when she pulled 7,143 votes to become the first female of parliament for St. Andrew Eastern. Boy, you click a lot of first, Miss Faval Williams. A lot of first. She is a member of the governing Jamaica Labour Party, has served as secretary for the party Central Executive Committee. Yeah, man. So she well qualified, guys. She well qualified. She have served in some of the toughest ministry in the government. Yeah, man. And me I tell you, we watch her. We watch her if you see what she go come with in the budget presentation. But Miss Faval Williams, may I ask you please, nobody be like Omar Davis. Run far from Omar Davis, run with it. We know it's an election year, and we know that the government party always come with goodies on election budget presentation. But please, don't run with it like Omar Davis. Stay far from Omar Davis, run with it. Please. The economy is very, very fragile, and we have to safeguard it. You understand what I mean? Yeah, man. So, guys, as I said, you're on a budget presentation watch. I'm going to be in and out, but stick to Jamaica-87. Please. Guys, do you know that some of the best budget presentation that we have in this country happen under the Jamaica Labour Party? Yeah, man. Some of the best budget presentation that this country have ever seen. Read. It's under the Jamaica Labour Party. Dr. Nigel Clark has come and he has changed the whole landscape when it comes on to finances or budget presentation in our country. I'm sure I usually make it nice too, you know, because it need other vibes. And I also want to say this, guys. Auntie Faval, let me tell you something. She no speak loud, you know. And she's not a type of person who's going to go on top of her voice. And listen to her very careful. Yeah, man. Yes, guys. So, as I said earlier, guys, Auntie Faval Williams is not a person who speak loudly or get on top of our voice. So we have to pay attention and listen very carefully. Very, very carefully. I'm going to try and see if I can play some of Nigel Clark past probably last year budget presentation with Dr. Nigel Clark. You know? And bring back and see if we bring back our memories. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, we're going to play back some of Dr. Nigel Clark budget presentation. You know what I mean? Hold on there, guys.
This government, headed by the most honorable Prime Minister Andrew Hope, join us today. Welcome you. May you enjoy the seat of the House. May it please the Madam Speaker.
Minister at Public Business.
Here you go, guys.
Madam Speaker, I now beg or move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take the motion.
Guys, are you hearing?
Regarding the report.
Please
of
tell
the
me if you're
Standing
hearing,
Finance
guys.
Committee, notice of which I gave
Give me a
earlier.
thumbs up.
Thanks, Minister. The question is that the standing orders be
And
suspended.
please tell me if you're hearing.
The Minister of Finance and the Public
The Minister of
Service
Finance,
to
Dr.
take
Nigel
the
Clark,
motion
giving his budget
regarding the
presentation.
report of the Standing Finance Committee, notice of which he gave earlier. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Minister?
Speaker, as we all know, the subject of the budget debate is the appropriation bill. But before the debate commences, the report of the Standing Finance Committee
Okay, Arthur,
today
thank
must be
you.
adopted. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I now move for the motion for the adoption of the report of the Standing Finance Committee, notice of which I gave earlier.
The question is that the motion for the adoption of the report of the Standing Finance Committee be approved. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. House Leader?
Madam Speaker, I now beg to move for the recommittal of the item at presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained in order for the appropriation bill to be tabled. May it please you, Madam Speaker.
Thanks, House Leader. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Recommittal, presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained. Minister?
Move to introduce and have read a first time a bill shortly entitled the Appropriations Act of 2023. 24.
Clark?
Bill shortly entitled.
Hold a moment, please, Clark. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. And that is the Appropriations Act 2024. Clark?
Bill shortly entitled the Appropriation Act 2024 for the first time.
Thank you. Minister?
I beg to give notice of the second reading of the bill, and I further beg to give notice that at a later stage today, I'll move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take reading of the bill and to commence the budget debate.
Thank you, Minister. Public business. Members, let me reiterate, I'm asking today and for the remainder of the budget presentations, the sectoral presentations and constituency debate, that we be mindful, as exuberant as we are, to manage the beating of the desk as it is impacting the usefulness of the mic system. So members, please remember on both sides of the house, members, today we will listen to our Minister of Finance and the Public Service as he opens the budget debate. Please make the Minister welcome.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am thankful and humbled once again for the opportunity to address this most honorable House in the opening of the budget debate. I'd like to congratulate you, Madam Speaker, and to thank you for your strong and effective leadership of the House. I start my remarks by thanking Almighty God, from whom all blessings flow. Great are his mercies, his faithfulness, and his kindness. The Lord is my strength and my shield. In him my heart trusts. Madam Speaker, I would not be here today and would not be able to make this presentation without the tremendous support, work, and effort of many persons. And I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude and thanks to the constituents of St. Andrew Northwestern. Thank you for placing confidence in me and my team. It's a privilege to serve you.
What's your credit card debt balance? If it's $10,000 or more, here are 3 easy solutions you can start implementing today. And number 3 is...
I am particularly grateful to the many workers and supporters, including the recently re-elected 3 councillors of St. Andrew Northwestern. The indomitable 5-star general, senior councillor, Vernon McLeod. The suave family man, as he is known, Councillor Dwayne Smith. And man with his ears to the ground, Councillor Andrew Harris, and other members of the constituency executive, several of whom are present in the gallery today. Thank you for your sacrifice, your enthusiasm, faithfulness, and support. Madam Speaker, I consider it a privilege to serve in the cabinet of the Most Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, the builder. He's a visionary, courageous, strong, empathetic, and wise, and I'm grateful for his counsel, advice, and confidence in me. To the fellow members of my cabinet, I'm honored to serve with you in a spirit of teamwork, collaboration, and a shared vision. To my parliamentary colleagues on both sides of the aisle, thank you for your dedication and contribution to helping make Jamaica a better place. I'd like to thank my colleague, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, the Honorable Xavier Main, for his efforts, commitment, and support. He has been very supportive of me, and I am grateful for that. Madam Speaker, Jamaica is truly blessed to have an exceptionally talented, dedicated team at the Ministry of Finance who I'm fortunate to serve alongside. I thank them for their efforts, their contribution, their sacrifices. I thank the Financial Secretary, Darlene Morrison, and her team at the Ministry, as well as my advisory staff. I also thank the administrative and ancillary staff in my office and the security staff assigned to me, who always go beyond the call of duty. Madam Speaker, I thank the board, management, and staff of the Bank of Jamaica, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, the Financial Services Commission, the Students' Loan Bureau, and all of the public bodies within my ministry, all of whom play a key role in Jamaica's economy. Most of all, Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank my wife, Rupi, and my children, who have kindly agreed to share me with the Northwestern Andhra and the people of Jamaica. I'll always be grateful for your love, understanding, and support. I'm also grateful for the steady and kind support of my siblings. And I remain indebted to my parents, the late Justice Neville Clark and Mrs. Mary Clark, for instilling in me a commitment to service of others and pursuit of excellence. Madam Speaker, thanks to those who made it here today in the gallery, members of the diplomatic corps, members of the business community, I mentioned members of the executive, members of the media, and others. And I'd like to thank, Madam Speaker, those who are joining on radio, social media, in the diaspora. Thank you for participating in these debates. And to all the people of Jamaica, we work for you. You inspire us every day, and we're humbled and grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Madam Speaker, in this budget presentation, I will provide the data that supports the fact that Jamaica's macroeconomic fundamentals today are stronger, better, and more favorable than at any time over the last 50 years. I'll define economic stability and demonstrate that this period is the only period in the last 50 years where we have enjoyed this. I'll advance the argument that economic stability is essential to the growth in investment and jobs in which drive government revenues. And it is from government revenues that we finance public investment expenditure on police stations and buses, schools, hospitals, roads, and other infrastructure, which benefit all the citizens of Jamaica over the long term. And materially increasing the levels of public investment expenditure is absolutely necessary if we are to improve quality of life. Madam Speaker, therefore, economic stability is indispensable to increasing the ability of the government to improve the quality of life and standard of living of the people of Jamaica. But while macro stability is absolutely necessary, it is by no means sufficient. Madam Speaker, in February 2018, while I was campaigning house to house during the St. Andrew Northwestern by-election, a lady greeted me at her gate and said to me something that I'll never forget. She said to me, "You see all them things there? Growth, debt, inflation. Them important, you know? Them very important. But them not important for we. What is important for we is the garbage collected? Is the pothole them fixed? Are the street lights working? That is what is important for we." Real story. It was one of those moments that will always remain with me. I shared this experience with a few people at the time, including the Prime Minister. And these words have been close to me since then. It was that conversation, Madam Speaker, that was a motivating factor in one of my very first moves as Minister of Finance and the Public Service to pay down the Streetlight $7 billion bill, which at the time was over 24 months due. And since then, to have the central government pay streetlights every year to the tune of $3.1 billion. Because we have always recognized what is important for the people. Now, Madam Speaker, economic stability is very important, as my constituent rightly acknowledged. It must be achieved and preserved, but it is not an end in itself. Rather, it must deliver for the people. Not just the connected, or the powerful, or the well-organized. Rather, it must deliver for all the people of Jamaica. Because many Jamaicans looking on say, all right, look, it's great to have achieved macroeconomic stability and all of these wonderful things that have eluded us for decades. But what about my issues? What about my issues? My roads are in a deplorable condition. My garbage is not collected on a regular basis. I've been waiting decades. I still don't have access to water, or in some cases, electricity. It takes an hour for the bus to come, and its timing is not reliable. Food prices have gone beyond my capacity, and I cannot go anywhere and hear reggae music in peace. Everywhere we go, them turn off the music. The people of Jamaica want us to address these important, critical issues and many others like them. The people want to see that these issues are priorities in the fiscal policy choices of the government. The people want to see that the allocation of resources in our national budget is aligned with the pain points that they experience. The people want us to put the same energy into the micro that we put into the macro. Madam Speaker, the people want to see an acceleration in how quickly we can use public investment to address long-standing challenges. Madam Speaker, I'd like to use this opportunity to speak directly to my constituent who gave me such good advice, as well as to all Jamaicans. We hear you loud and clear. This government, headed by the most honorable Prime Minister Andrew Holness, is a listening government. Madam Speaker, we listen to the people. And let me say very clearly that what is important to you is also very important to us. Not only have we listened and heard you, Madam Speaker, let me make it abundantly clear that we're also a government that responds. And a government that acts. As such, Madam Speaker, we will align our fiscal policies to address the pain points in our society. Madam Speaker, we will preserve economic stability. We're best placed to do that. Madam Speaker, we will improve economic stability. We're best placed to do that. And Madam Speaker, we will also leverage economic stability in the people's interest. We are best placed to do that. This government, Madam Speaker, has always listened and always responded in a manner that protects and preserves economic stability while also acting in the people's interest. We've endeavored to do so every year since we were first elected in 2016, and we will also do so. We'll always do so. It is abundantly clear, however, Madam Speaker, the people of Jamaica want even more from us as a government. The people of Jamaica want to know and feel that they're benefiting and participating more directly from the macroeconomic advances that we have made in a manner that improves their lives. Madam Speaker, this has always been our commitment, and we have a strong track record of record quality of life improving achievements that support this. And Madam Speaker, we renew, we redouble, we re-energize our commitment to walk and to go. That is to continue improving the macro fundamentals of the country, thereby creating an environment that's conducive to jobs and growth, and at the same time leveraging economic stability that in the people's interest. It is in that context, Madam Speaker, that I'm honored to present the budget for the fiscal year 2024-25. So, Madam Speaker, we have spent a little time on the macro achievements and then move on from there. We need economic stability to sustainably improve standards of living. And, Madam Speaker, we can also be proud of Jamaica's strong democratic tradition. This year marks 80 continuous years of electoral democracy in Jamaica. Jamaica stands among a handful of countries in the world with such a long record of free and fair elections. Indeed, we just completed the 2024 Parish Council elections, and I want to thank all the citizens of Jamaica who participated and all the candidates, and to congratulate them. Madam Speaker, I'm also pleased to report that despite the local government elections, our fiscal, monetary, and economic processes were uninterrupted, and we remain steadfast in continuing to address the important business of the people of Jamaica during elections, before elections, and after elections. Madam Speaker, as I said when the budget was tabled, we are tabling the national budget on time, within schedule, and this debate has been open on time and within schedule, which was not always the case. For the listening public, the general elections in 1989 were held on February 9th, the same month as this election, and the national budget was delayed until June of that year. The general elections of 2016 were held on February 25th, and this delayed the national budget until May of that year. Madam Speaker, some persons that won't call any names might be quick to point out that these are general elections, while February 26th was the local government elections. To those persons, I would point to the local government elections of February 1981, which resulted in a delay of the budget until May of 1981. Madam Speaker, election or no election, the national budget must be passed in the House by March 31st each year, and that is now law. And it's a sign of progress for our country. This brings order, increases certainty, and allows citizens to plan. Election or no election, the people's business must go on. Madam Speaker, another example, the Planning Institute of Jamaica has an annual schedule of public economic briefings, and this schedule is decided in advance. Despite the then pending local government elections, the PIOJ held their quarterly briefings on the scheduled date, as they always do, and updated the country on economic projections. Election or no election, the PIOJ updated the country on time, on schedule, with no delay. Now, Madam Speaker, this is something I have to comment on. Similarly, the Bank of Jamaica has monetary policy committee meetings on a scheduled basis each year. The dates of these meetings are published in advance, and the minutes of those meetings are required by law to be made public after the meetings are held. In addition, the BOJ holds a scheduled monetary policy briefing and press conference after each monetary policy committee meeting. Madam Speaker, Jamaica should be proud of the fact that a few weeks ago, the BOJ held its monetary policy briefing and press conference, where it updated the country on monetary policy developments and the outlook for inflation on time, on schedule, election or no election. Now, Madam Speaker, change can be difficult, but these are important developments. The predictability of scheduled economic policy updates from our primary economic institutions taking place on time and on schedule is an essential feature of a modern market-based economy. In a market economy, individual households and businesses in aggregate allocate vast amounts of resources on a daily, monthly, weekly basis. And this private allocation exceeds what the government has available to deploy. Timely and credible economic data and information is indispensable to the efficiency of this process and to the maintenance of a vibrant economy. Credibility is enhanced if these data being provided are done in a predictable manner, impervious to perceptions of whether the data are convenient or not, or to which segments of society they may appear convenient. On the contrary, if economic institutions pick and choose when to speak and adjust according to electoral or political cycle, their pronouncements become suspect and the service they deliver to the Jamaican citizen, households and businesses and investors as well is weakened. As such, Madam Speaker, for our market-based economy to work properly and for it to have the capacity to deliver the resources that the government can spend to improve the quality of people's lives, the publication of data by our economic institutions cannot be subordinated to political processes. Jamaica lifted capital controls in 1993. Since that time, capital can flow in and out of Jamaica freely. In fact, it moves more freely than people. In such a system, confidence is very important, and it can be irreparably damaged if people believe that economic data is provided in a manner that suits the government of the day, or if a pre-scheduled economic data releases are withheld or postponed during electoral cycles. As such, the practice is that once a schedule is set for these primary data releases, and they're done 4 times a year, the schedule is public on the website, those briefings do not vary. And why not one time? Well, the problem is if you do it once, you set unfortunate precedent that it can be done again and again. There's too much at stake, Madam Speaker. For the past 62 years, we have been squeezed into borrowing US dollars from abroad. We demonstrated that with a credible regime, credible economic and monetary policy regime, we were able to borrow in Jamaican dollars for the first time. Madam Speaker, I propose that we formally implement public protocol under which it's clear to everyone that our major economic institutions continue to adhere to a fixed schedule of major data releases and commentary where the schedule is made public at the beginning of the calendar year, but restrict discretionary interviews or speeches by invitation during an election period, which has been the practice. In the June 2016 referendum in the UK, a similar protocol was established and made public. It had existed before, but it was written and made public on this occasion. Some will say, but wait a minute, that's the big UK. You know, what does that have to do with small Jamaica? Well, Madam Speaker, Jamaica and the UK are similar in that we are both politically democratic, market-oriented economic systems. And as the right excellent Marcus Mazaragave implied through words or deed, who becomes strong by imitating the weak? If you want to be strong, you do what the strong do. Madam Speaker, as with the national budget, with the PIOJ briefings, with the BOJ quarterly updates, election or no election, the people's business must go on. And as I stated before, Madam Speaker, we are committed to ensuring the people's business is addressed on time, on schedule, all the time. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to report that the Jamaican economy has grown for 10 consecutive quarters. It is the second longest period of quarterly growth since we started measuring growth quarterly in 1997. The longest, Madam Speaker, was December 2015 to October 2019, when Jamaica experienced 19 consecutive quarters of growth. So, you know, we grow 7 quarters, then we have a couple quarters of decline. Grow 3 quarters, then decline. Grow 9 quarters, then decline. 9 quarters, decline. 1 quarter, decline. So our history has been punctuated, certainly prior to since we measured growth 1997 until 2015, before that 19 periods of growth, we had as many periods of quarterly growth as we had decline. And some observers cite the fact that for 40 years, between the 1970s and the 2010s, our average economic growth was 1%. That is true. But, Madam Speaker, that masks a deeper truth. It is the variation of growth around that average where the problem has really been. Jamaica's economy, and here we have the 10 quarters of growth on the screen. Jamaica's economy has been characterized by profound volatility, massive ups and downs in quick succession and wild swings. And that has not been good for jobs, Madam Speaker, which is why the unemployment rate was so high for so long. It is that start and stop of the economy and high unemployment that we aim to address. We want to have longer periods of economic expansion and quick recoveries from economic shocks. We want to dampen economic volatility. It's for that reason, Madam Speaker, that we celebrate the 10 quarters, because it has not been the norm. Madam Speaker, Jamaica's per capita GDP is a measure of economic output divided by the number of Jamaicans. Using Jamaica's nominal per capita GDP at the end of fiscal year 2023-24, Madam Speaker, and our GDP per capita, at the end of fiscal year 23-24 is projected to be roughly $7,000 US. Using the GDP figures from Staten and the population data that we have and the closing exchange rate, it has gone up. Anybody notice? It's now $7,000. But Madam Speaker, we have a lot of catching up to do because Trinidad and Barbados, for example, are moving at the same time, and they are now at $20,000. But you're seeing, Madam Speaker, we're stuck at the political level for a long time, and nobody has been noticing. But today, the per capita GDP is $7,000. Madam Speaker, the unemployment rate has fallen to 4.2%. 4.2%, Madam Speaker. More Jamaicans employed today than ever before, 1.3 million. 4.2% is a record low. And Madam Speaker, between 1990 and 25 and 2015, unemployment averaged. Sometimes it was higher, sometimes it was lower. But it averaged over that 25-year period, 14%. That is the context, Madam Speaker. And our labor participation rate is higher than the United States, higher than the United Kingdom, higher than Barbados, higher than Trinidad. A greater proportion of our labor force, of our population is in the labor force than all of those countries. Now, we want to increase the value of jobs, but the only way to sustainably do it is to increase the skills and boosting the education outcomes of the population. Madam Speaker, debt to GDP is projected to be 72% by the end of the fiscal year. This will be the first time, Madam Speaker, our debt ratio will be lower than prior to the FinSAC era. And it's taken us 30 years to achieve this. Very enduring and painful lessons. Madam Speaker, Jamaica's debt could be as low as 64% of GDP by April 2025. And if achieved, this will be the lowest debt ratio since 1976, 50 years ago. Let me just remind us, Madam Speaker, in 1970-71, Jamaica's debt ratio was 27%. Believe it or not. It was 27%. By the end, by 1978-79, it was just under 90% at 88%. And Madam Speaker, the history we know from there. By 89-90,
remember the history.
By 1989-90, it was 138%. In 1980, Madam Speaker, the central bank had negative reserves. The only way to replace goods in Jamaica is the government had to go out and borrow US dollars so that we could import goods. We had what we call negative reserves. Our Jamaicans, we have to internalize our economic history for the good of the country.
That's the paradox. We say it don't matter, but it does. We say growth don't matter, but it does. We say interest don't matter, but it does.
So, Madam Speaker, we are proud of our commitment and our successful efforts so far to reduce the debt ratio to the lowest level, Madam Speaker, in 30 years, and by next year, the lowest level in 50 years, Madam Speaker. Now, just a point of fact, Madam Speaker, the debt ratio is not the absolute level of debt. Okay? So it's not a matter that we are paying down the debt. Right? Madam Speaker, the absolute level of debt in Jamaica stayed relatively constant for the past several years, hovering around 2 trillion to 2.2 trillion. It's not that we're paying down the debt in a literal sense. We're managing the government's finances so that we don't materially increase the size of debt. While we grow the economy,
debt does not become
So the debt doesn't become a threat to the economy, and we grow the economy so that the ratio between the size of the debt and the size of the economy gets lower each year. So the fallacy, the debt was 2.1 trillion in 22-23. In 23-24, it will be 2.2 trillion. Not that we're paying it down. It's actually going up, but it's good. We're doing it in a way that is sustainable. Right? Now, Madam Speaker, over the past 10 years, beginning fiscal year 2013-14, Jamaica has achieved all of its fiscal targets in the budgetary process. That's 10 years. 3 years under the prior administration and 7 years under this administration. 2013-14, the fiscal target was not met in 2012-13. Okay? 2013-14, 2014-15, and 2015-16. Then you take under Prime Minister Wallace's time, 16-17, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20. 2021 was COVID, so we used when we revised the budget, we met that target. 21-22, 22-23. And if we meet it this year, there's still a couple of days to go, it would be the 8th under this administration and the 11th consecutive year overall. Madam Speaker, fiscal credibility has improved dramatically as a result, and the trust in Jamaica's economic policy-making environment has multiplied several-fold. This, in turn, has made Jamaica a much more attractive destination for investment and explains, in part, the robust growth in jobs. The more fiscally credible you are, is the better our terms in the trading with the rest of the world, Madam Speaker. Now, all countries need to borrow to finance their operations. However, when countries like Germany or Japan borrow, or any one of a number of developed countries, they don't need to borrow in US dollars or in any currency other than their own. Germany borrows in euros. Japan borrows in yen. This means that Germany and Japan have little or no foreign exchange exposure on their international obligation, debt. In other words, foreign exchange risk is effectively eliminated, and that helps to make them economically stronger and more resilient. And international investors lending to Germany and Japan are content lending to them in euros and yen because they have trust in the stability of the economic environment that Germany and Japan have, as their institutional mechanisms, such as independent central banks, guarantee price stability. For a developing country like Jamaica, the picture is quite different. Jamaican developing countries also need to borrow internationally. There's not enough resources domestically. But when developing countries choose to borrow internationally, they're compelled to do so in currencies other than their own. International investors want the comfort and safety of the US dollar or a similarly strong developed world currency. This has the effect of adding a source of risk to the economies of developing countries, because borrowing internationally introduces foreign exchange risk vulnerability. Madam Speaker, it was in 2019 that I publicly stated that Jamaica will launch its first local currency bond internationally within 5 years. Madam Speaker, some people thought I was whatever. The Gleaner captured my statement, and I'm particularly pleased that November 2023, prior to the expiry date of that commitment, the government of Jamaica issued its first ever Jamaican dollar currency denominated instrument in international capital markets. Never been done before in 62 years. Promise made, Madam Speaker, and promise kept. Now, what this means, Madam Speaker, is that international investors from all over the world, London and Zurich, Frankfurt and New York, but Boston and Los Angeles, took Jamaican dollar exposure to lend to the government to the tune of $46 billion. So, Madam Speaker, this would have been unimaginable 5 years ago. And the development represents a substantial policy dividend emanating from an improved macro environment, deepening monetary policy transparency, and the institutional mechanisms to pursue and maintain stable inflation. Madam Speaker, the ability to tap overseas investors for Jamaican dollar financing broadens and deepens and diversifies government's funding sources, while providing opportunity over time of altering the currency mix in the national debt. Madam Speaker, The more of our national debt that's in Jamaican dollars is the stronger Jamaica will become. And the more we'll be able to benefit the people. Today, the foreign component of our debt is 62%. Our goal is to get it to 50% within a reasonable period of time. It will take time, but we have to have ambition. Our goal is to reduce it to 50%. Madam Speaker, the level of foreign exchange reserves stands at 4.7 billion. This is more reserves than we've had at any period in the past, and it will soon pass $5 billion US dollars for the first time. We've come a long way. As I mentioned earlier, Madam Speaker, in 1980, Jamaica had negative foreign exchange reserves, and that influenced what had to happen because the country needed foreign currency. The only way to get it would have been to borrow. And that is what happened. And it wasn't for 17 years, we had negative net international reserves. For 17 years. 17 years. Jamaica is a small island in a big world, and we have to import much of what we need, and we need foreign exchange to do it. An adequate supply of foreign reserves is a signal to suppliers at Jamaica that they will get paid. And Madam Speaker, that came in useful in the COVID pandemic when we lost $4 billion US dollars of foreign exchange inflows like that. Tourism brings in $3 to $4 billion a year. We went down to zero like that. And Madam Speaker, we are able to endure that foreign exchange supply shock, still import goods and services from overseas, and pay those bills as they came due, all because we had high levels of foreign exchange reserves, Madam Speaker. We're proud of our commitment and successful efforts to build Jamaica's foreign reserve. Now, Madam Speaker, some people say, you know, quite innocently, we have all those reserves, why we can't just tap into it and use it and spend? I understand the question. But, Madam Speaker, it is those reserves that underpin the Jamaican currency. You notice how the Jamaican currency start to behave all of a sudden, right? Because we have reserves backing it. If we were to do something like that, what would happen is that our currency would become very, very unstable, as it has been in the past. We'd have high inflation and the people would not benefit. You would think you benefited the people, but ultimately they would not benefit because it would make life more difficult. We have been there. That's the good thing about our history. We have been there. We know what it is like. And so we don't want to repeat the errors and mistakes, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, on the matter of, I just want to touch something here. Every country has tax revenues that vary throughout the year. And so governments have to borrow to finance. And the way the world works is that the more a country needs money, is the more that money will cost. You understand? The more a country needs money, is the more that money will cost. That's a reality that existed long before our time, and it will exist long after our time. As such, since money costs more, the more a country is seen to need it. The key for a country is to not be in need of any other people's money. The key is for a country not to be dependent on other countries' money. The better that you're able to take care of yourself by yourself, the bigger the ratings that you get in the credit world. That's just how it goes. The better able you are to pay back your loan, the bigger rating you get in the credit world. And Madam Speaker, I'm happy to report that just last week, following two other rating agencies, Jamaica got the highest rating in 18 years from that rating agency, Fitch. And last year, the highest in 20 years. Now, Madam Speaker, what that means is that what Jamaica borrows for new loans is 3 points to 5 points lower than some of our peers in the Caribbean. So if we have to borrow $500 million US dollars, and a peer country in the region has to borrow $500 million US dollars, we pay between 15 and 25 million US dollars per year less than they do. And the lower cost to our country, Madam Speaker, means we can do more with the money in the interest of the people. So Madam Speaker, the way the world works is, the more you need other countries' money, is the more you pay for it, And because the more you pay for it, is the less you can do with it. The lower your credit rating is the more you will pay for money, which is the less that you can do. Now, Madam Speaker, as I said, what we want to do is to be able to do more with money. So we have to put the country in a position that we lower our dependence on the outside world for money. Not that we don't need it or we can't access it, but we lower our dependence on it. We have multiple options. That is how you become economically independent, Madam Speaker. That's a route. And we are a small country in a big wide world. We don't make the economic rules of the world. My God, I wish we did. I wish we did, but we don't. That's a reality. But we have to be smart enough. We have to be wise enough. We have to be agile enough to max out the rules of the world and use that knowledge to the advantage of the Jamaican people. The economic rules of the world, Madam Speaker, is that countries that are economically strong and independent are able to do much more for their citizens because they're not burdened, Madam Speaker, they don't have instability. That's why we want to be economically strong as a country. Low debt, high reserves, long periods of growth, high credit rating. But make no mistake about it, the primary lesson from 5,000 years of human civilization is that, and it's just a fact of history, the past. God hope the future is not like it. The 5,000 years of human history teaches us that in the past, strong countries and strong nations have always dominated weak ones. We don't want to dominate any other country. We just want to be economically strong so that we can offer our people a good quality of life and ensure that we are never dominated by others. Madam Speaker, as children of Her Excellency the Warrior Nanny of the Maroons and as sons and daughters of Excellency Sam Sharp, Paul Bogle, George William Gordon and Marcus Garvey, who paid for their lives and their freedoms, we have a duty to the present and the future generations. We have an obligation to fulfill the manifest destiny that is ours as a nation. Madam Speaker, we are a people with a message for the world. We are a nation that is destined. There are some who may have a limited vision of who we can be, of who we are, and what we can achieve. Madam Speaker, my vision, Madam Speaker, the vision of this government is that we can achieve what any other country in the world has achieved. So, Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to report, as I said, that the macro fundamentals are better than any time in the last 50 years. Does that mean that all Jamaicans are hunky-dory and well off? Not at all, Madam Speaker. Far from it. Far from it. And that's something we're going to have to address. It is something that we have been addressing. And it's something that we'll continue to address, Madam Speaker. But we cannot afford to throw out the baby with the bathwater. In other words, let us be careful not to make the tragic mistake of acting in a way that we lose the good parts of what we possess because we reject it as a whole instead of just fixing what needs to be fixed and keeping what is good. Because it's a very good thing, Madam Speaker, that we have achieved what we have on the macro levels. And it's important that we keep that strength, build on it, and get even stronger. So, Madam Speaker, when we talk about history, let me first say that I have nothing but respect and deep veneration for all of Jamaica's former leaders, Their Excellencies Alexander Bustamante and Norman Manley, the most honorable Michael Manley, Edward Siaga, P.J. Patterson, Portia Simpson-Miller, and Bruce Golding, and the administrations that they led. Each of those administrations made huge contributions to Jamaica, and we truly stand on the shoulders of giants. The purpose of historical references and comparisons is not to take anything away from their achievements or contributions. They were products of their time, in much the same way that we are. The purpose, however, Madam Speaker, is to collectively learn from our economic history, as all powerful societies do. when you go and take your MBA or your Master's in Government in the United States, or in Europe, the first thing they teach is about the tulip bubble. They teach you about the 1929 stock market crash. Societies learn from their history. History, as Malcolm X said, is the most important subject. Malcolm X said that, the most important subject. And as we know, the adage that a people without knowledge of its roots is like, people without history, knowledge of their history is like a tree without roots. So, Madam Speaker, over the last 5 decades, Madam Speaker, this is the, so Madam Speaker, we intend to pursue economic stability in the people's interest. It is stability that allows us to expand the...
Minister, in fact, you do have another minute, but listening to your speech, I do not want to break you when you are in full stride. So, House Leader.
The member's time having been expired, I beg to move that his time be extended sufficiently to allow him to complete his presentation. May it please you, Madam Speaker.
The question is that the Minister be allowed to complete his presentation. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
So, Madam Speaker, I want to make it clear that we pursue economic stability in the people's interest. And it is that stability that allows us to expand the capital budget even beyond the capacity of the pure public bureaucracy to implement, something that we need to address, and I will get to that. It is stability that allows the government to plan years in advance and to share those plans, which allows for steady, even development. You'll recall, Madam Speaker, that last year we informed this Honourable House about the Spark Infrastructure Programme last year. I'm proud to announce that we're entering a period, Madam Speaker, where we will leverage our economic stability to usher in the largest period of public investment designed to address the problems experienced by Jamaicans every day. Madam Speaker, when through public investment the government of Jamaica brings water to a community, the people benefit. When through public investment the government brings access to sewer lines to a community, the people benefit. Madam Speaker, when the government is able to bring JUTC buses so people can plan their businesses and ride in comfort, the people benefit. When the government builds new hospitals and schools in public investment, the people benefit. When we build new tax offices, the people benefit. When we build public parks and new courthouses and acquire garbage trucks, the people benefit. Now, Madam Speaker, in my capacity as chairman of the Public Investment Management Committee, the committee embedded in the Financial Audit and Administration Act, responsible for considering, reviewing, and approving public investments, let me assure you that we will positively impact the daily experience of Jamaicans with public investment expenditure designed to solve pain points. Some of these will be financed by the government and some by the private sector by way of structured transactions. Madam Speaker, the public investment program will deliver well over $1 trillion in infrastructure expenditure over the next 5 years, inclusive of this year and inclusive of expenditure by PPPs. Roads and bridges and public parks, hospitals, schools, water, sewage, irrigation systems, houses, tax offices, courthouses, buses, garbage trucks, digital infrastructure, IT systems, and highways. It will be the greatest expansion of public investment, Madam Speaker, that we have seen, geared towards improving public services. And every minister of government is involved, and we're all working assiduously on your behalf. Police stations, equipment for the police, so that these projects span the full breadth of ministries. By the time he's done, Madam Speaker, the Honourable Prime Minister, the builder, will break ground and open more projects than any Prime Minister before him.
No, already,
yeah. Yeah. So, Madam Speaker, This is only financially feasible, members of this honorable house, right? This, what we're talking about, $1 trillion of public investment over the next 5 years, is only financially feasible.
Elaine, what's up?
Where's the member there? If we maintain our credit rating. Because the government can't do it all. The government can only, our program is public. The fiscal policy paper has $500 billion of capital expenditure over the next 5 years. To get the rest, these projects to life for the benefit of the people. Now, Madam Speaker, let's talk about some of the elephants in the room. We will not be able to implement such an ambitious program of public investment with the procurement system as it is. Make no mistake about it, Jamaica's connection, right? We need economic stability to get public investments to solve the people's problems. But for the public investment to turn into an execution, we need procurement and we need public investment to work.
Warm your season with unbeatable deals on fragrances, skincare, hair care, and more.
So, Madam Speaker, procurement is integral to the functioning of government, and an efficient procurement system is vital to the efficiency of government. Now, procurement policy rests with the Ministry of Finance through the Office of Public Procurement. Why? Because everything is going to be, everything is digital. So we'll be able to see everything. You can hide and say, what? The procurement system. No, we can see every step, how much time you took. Now, to improve the productivity of government requires us to take a good look at procurement processes and implementation and to see how we can optimize. But we're not at liberty to simply optimize one variable, which is time. Procurement undertaken with the public money, all right, is such that we're obligated to optimize other variables as well. It has to be designed to make sure there's value for money. And given the sheer size of aggregate procurement, it needs to be optimized to have economic benefits for society. Sometimes these latter two objectives conflict with the first. And in a society bedeviled by low trust, this conflict can be even more intense. However, with analysis based on data, we can make tweaks to the system that allows us to better optimize all three objectives. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to update this House that Jamaica now has a fully functional electronic procurement system, the Government of Jamaica Electronic Procurement System, GOJEP. We must recognize and express appreciation for the technical cooperation of the Inter-American Development Bank and the European Union in this regard. Through its several modules, GOJEP manages tender calls and bid submissions, aids in bill evaluation. It basically is indispensable throughout all the stages of the procurement process. I promised in my 2021 budget presentation to unlock the power of electronic procurement through increased adoption, and we have been following up on that. If we want to have an efficient system, Madam Speaker, we have to go digital. And we had a 3-year transition period. Effective August 2023, whenever you make the switch over, it's always a little uncomfortable. But there's a 3-year transition period. And the switch over came in August of 2023, where every procurement above the threshold, which today is 1.5 million, has to go through the electronic system. Now I want to show you what we can get with this electronic system. We already, Madam Speaker, have tons of data that we've been able to analyze. 14,000 procurements over the 20 months between February 2022 and October 2023. We measured the average time the procurement takes from the date of advertisement, in the case of a competitively tendered contract, or the date of notification, in the case of restricted bidding, or the date when quotes are released, in the case of single source methodology. And we measured that until the date of contract award. Pretty easy to do when you have an electronic system. Madam Speaker, I don't think you can only see the outlines of the chart, but the first chart shows beginning in February 2022, right, the blue line shows the average kind of procurement time, going up and down, but decidedly a downward path. And this is average now across all procurement types, for all procurement methodologies. A crude statistic, but a useful one nonetheless. Procurement average time oscillated between 47 and 77 days, but by the end of that period, it was 53 days. We can look beyond those basic averages and look based on methodology. The single source methodology took an average of 35 days for goods, 37 days for services, and 33 days for work. Again, we have this data because of the electronic procurement system. Couldn't respond before because the information is too hard to collect. So it took 30. This is under the pink at the bottom. That's the time that single source takes, which is why you have the red. And the column to the right of the people in the parliament is goods. So when you purchase goods, 30 days single source. Services, 37. Works, 35. Leave out the first column in a second. The purple is restricted bidding. And for restricted bidding, it took 44 days for goods, 59 days for services, 85 days for works. Now, when you come to open bidding, national, Madam Speaker, an average of 152 days for goods, 202 days for services, 193 days for works. When you look at open bids internationally tender, it took an average of 284 days for goods and 200 days for services. So when you hear people talking about procurement, Madam Speaker, it's really those that they are referring to, which are the more impactful projects, the one that can really materially change the quality of life. Well, we haven't had one in that period. So, Madam Speaker, clearly the data shows and it confirms the experience, right? That it just takes too long for the things that really matter to people. So, we've had a good think about it, Madam Speaker, and discussed it at many levels. And we've dug deep, and I'm going to talk about some of the soft issues first, and the soft changes. Then I will talk about the harder issues. And I know that some of the people in the room want to hear the hard changes. But the soft changes are just as important. Madam Speaker, one of the things that we have found is that procurement failures occur too often on big procurements. And that's when a process fails to deliver even after bids have come in. I had one in my ministry on something that was very, very, very important. Has to be done again. I know the Prime Minister had a big one. And I'm sure it has been experienced. That you go through the procurement is one of the, show the color graph again. Is one of the big ones that take 200 and odd days. You go through and you finish the 200 odd days. Do everything. And you have to go back again because it did not deliver. Either it failed. There are many reasons that describe fail. Now, the procurement team in doing the detailed analysis, Madam Speaker, and sometimes, as we discussed in standing finance, a bidder is unable to perform, cannot post a bond. Now, by supplementing these results with qualitative investigations, we've been able to identify some of the key soft issues, Madam Speaker. One of the things that we have done, the Office of Public Procurement that is we have developed a pre-engagement checklist for procurement officers to correct for the experience where procurements have to be redone because of officer error or oversight. We have found in large procurements, if we properly think through the evaluation criteria, in many instances we would prevent procurement failing. So what we've done is provided a checklist to go to all procurement officers throughout the system. When you're doing one of these major things, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about this? So you can put the evaluation matrix together in a way that you're going to be successful. In addition, Madam Speaker, we've provided guidance notes, given the procurement committee's guidance notes to optimize the decision they make. One of the observations is that procurement committees get lost in questions that have no bearing on the decision that they're called upon to make. Human nature. You have a decision to make. It's a business, hard-nosed business decision. and you end up talking about things that have no bearing or relevance. So we're providing guidance notes that procurement committees, look, this is serious business. These are the things you ought to consider, right? And so forth. The third, Madam Speaker, is that for evaluation committees, most of the people on it is not their full-time job. You have a procurement officer, but other people on the committee have other jobs. And we're kind of looking at the decision distribution between the procurement officer and the committee. There are certain things we don't need the committee to do. The final decision, in many cases, yes. But there are steps along the way that the officer can do. And, Madam Speaker, the Ministry has now published a series of time efficiency benchmarks that will form the basis of reporting going forward. So what we've done, we're sending it out to all procurement departments, and we've said, for this leg of the process, it should take no longer than this 10 days. For this leg, it shouldn't take more than that day. For this leg, it shouldn't be more than that. And, Madam Speaker, what gets measured gets done. We're going to publish the procurement statistics of every ministry, department, and agencies, Madam Speaker, correcting for contingent issues such as resources and contract volume. Because what gets measured gets done. And, Madam Speaker, we're going to introduce the Government of Jamaica Procurement Awards that celebrates excellence in procurement. We're going to change the culture around procurement, Madam Speaker. Procurement, for many, was a bad word. People afraid and scared. No, the country can't move ahead like that. We're going to say that we're going to honor and reward procurement leadership and procurement efficiency and procurement innovation across the 200 MDAs. The Corporate Governance Awards, introduced before my time, have played a key role in improving corporate governance over time. And I believe the Government of Jamaica Procurement Awards will have a same cultural impact. So, Madam Speaker, for the hard issues, we have reviewed the Procurement Act, and we're going to be proposing some amendments to the legal and institutional framework, and we need to get it through the system quickly. For example, Madam Speaker, in the case of contracts for goods and services, we'll be increasing the threshold below which single-source procurement is permissible from $1.5 million to $3 million, Madam Speaker. The 1.5 million threshold has been in place for almost a decade. And for works, it will go from $2 million to $5 million. Madam Speaker, in addition, we're going to be moving the limits required for public procurement committee approval from $30 million to at least $60 million. So we are going to be empowering procuring entities to have more autonomy and to award higher value contracts without need for external approval. These things will speed up the pace at which the government can deliver. And, Madam Speaker, there is a mandatory 10-day standstill period in the Procurement Act. The intention is good enough, because we're like, again, it's built for negativity. Oh, if there's just in case somebody gets upset, we have to have a 10-day, the procurement done, you're ready to go. You have to sit down for 10 days, 2 weeks, and wait, because what? Somebody going to come and complain or whatever. Now, I can understand that for the large material procurement, but my God, the whole system, the whole procurement system, 10 days, for what? Madam Speaker, we're going to shave unnecessary delay, and we're going to abolish this mandatory standstill for all but the large procurements. Now, Madam Speaker, the greatest improvement in efficiency can come from moving some of the layers that exist. I want to go through the layers for the largest procurement. I want you to bear with me. You remember, it's a people's business that we're on. We're talking about accelerating how we can deliver to the people's benefit. All right, I want you to stay with me. So, Madam Speaker, the layers. You have the procurement officer. Let's see if I have enough fingers here. No, all right. You have the procurement officer. You have the procurement committee. And after that, it goes to the head of the procuring entity. Then depending on, I'm saying for the larger one, it goes to sector committee. Then it goes to the Public Procurement Commission. And hear me now. It goes to the Public Procurement Commission back to the Procurement Ministry. The Procurement Ministry has to prepare a cabinet submission. It goes to the Cabinet Office. Then it goes to Infrastructure Committee of Cabinet. Then it goes to the full Cabinet. Then it goes back to the Procuring Ministry. I need a tour. It then goes back to the Procuring Officer. No, Madam Speaker. If we are serious about the people's business and we want to leverage stability to impact people's lives, we're going to have to change the structure. Madam Speaker, we will abolish the sector committee, removing an unnecessary layer from the public procurement process.
Well, that's Mark. He marks up medicines. As a nonprofit, we might pay a penny for a medicine.
Procurement process. Now, Madam Speaker, the draft bill is in advanced stages. Madam, I'm dependent on the process to help me get the bill quickly. And I know that my colleague minister, Madam Ford, will make sure that this bill comes forth 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. So, Madam Speaker, I want to touch on a little, I want to touch, it's family time, Jamaican family. I want to touch on a part of the procurement process that we can't afford to overlook because we're serious about the people's business. Okay? Yes. Madam Speaker, when you look at the big procurements, the 200-day procurement, the data suggests that sometimes the cabinet process takes up as much as 25% of the time. This is because of the many micro steps involved. Right? After Public Procurement Commission has approved it, it's not approved by some independent people. It's not approved. It go back to the ministry. The ministry have to write a cabinet. You ever see those cabinet submissions? Some of them are 40 pages long. Background, context, issues, right? Sometimes you have to prepare the cabinet submission, go to the minister, you don't like this, change that, go to this person, don't like it, change it. Sometimes those cabinet submissions have to go elsewhere for commentary. Yes, before it gets to cabinet office. It gets to cabinet office, they may have changes, they send it back. I'm talking just the honest to God truth. Then after that, it has to go to infrastructure committee. And sometimes we lose time. And then it goes to cabinet. But when you go to cabinet, as a cabinet decision, you're not done enough. It's only done when it is minuted by the cabinet, which is 1 week after the cabinet meeting. So when you add it all up, Madam Speaker, that we are defeating ourselves. Madam Speaker, something major in the process has to change for us to get major change in outcome. The reason why this is instituted is a low trust society, and this is probably the reverse of the low trust, so to speak, right? But Madam Speaker, we can find other ways of providing information to the cabinet so they're aware of what has happened. Yeah? But Madam Speaker, if we are to leverage macro stability in the people's interests and to contemplate $1 trillion of public investment over 5 years, to resolve the society's pain points, including big ones for this year, these considerations are very important. I'm not coming with a prescription, but I'm putting it out there, Madam Speaker. We have to look at the Cabinet's role in the procurement process. There is good reason why maybe there should be no rule. Or maybe that you set the threshold so high. Today, the threshold for Cabinet is 100 million Jamaican dollars, 700,000 US dollars. It's 60 million, sorry. 60 million, what am I talking about? It's 400,000 US. Right? So every pencil and pen you buy, I mean, that's an exaggeration, but $60 million in the context of a government, there's so many, there's hundreds of procurements that are coming through Cabinet. Cabinet has become a procurement office. It's not efficient. And it's something that we, as having policy responsibility for procurement, and putting it out, that is something that we have to change in a major way. So, Madam Speaker, public investment and management exception, and then I'm going to come back to something on procurement. Madam Speaker, public investment process is important, right? Because public investments, represents spending in assets. Some of them are major, some of them are multi-year commitments. And the government has been reforming and refining its public investment system to ensure adequate planning and consideration. Madam Speaker. And to make sure that citizens receive value for money and procurement is on time and on budget. Madam Speaker, a robust public investment process is in the people's interest. But Madam Speaker, while we revise and improve the process, the people deserve and need efficiency. In August 2023, the Ministry of Finance introduced adjustments to the established process for appraisals and approvals of public investment projects, Madam Speaker, to allow for expedited processes for projects in exigent circumstances, emergencies associated with national disasters, or matters of national security. And when projects have met these conditions, along with criteria that establishes lack of complexity, the PIAB will conduct a rapid screening of the concept and expedite as necessary. And the proposal stage, Madam Speaker, is similarly expedited. We have used that now for a couple of procurements that have solved previous problems that we had. However, we need to do more. The Financial Audit and Administration Act stipulates that all public investment has to undergo appraisal and approval through the public investment process. That's what the law says. That's what the law says. The law says it. That all public investment. Now, that's something I have to look at too. In that public investments range from $20 million to $20 billion. Is it really necessary for public procurements along that entire spectrum to go through the same process? Yeah? So we're looking at introducing a threshold that would create a different treatment. If we go the way of saying procurements, public investments below a particular threshold does not need to go through the public investment process, we have to change the law, and that takes time. Another way is to say that below a particular threshold, the ministry does the appraisal. You understand? So we still comply with the law that the appraisal is being done, but below a particular threshold, it doesn't have to be done at PIAB, it's done at the ministry. So, Madam Speaker, we are moving to make material changes in procurement and public investment to ensure that the people benefit from economic stability in a timely manner. And we also, Madam Speaker, we have a performance evaluation program for contractors, where contracts above a particular threshold, the procuring entity is required to score the contractors and to keep it in a database. A number of that they can share, public departments can share. And beyond a certain negative score, contractors can be debarred from participation in public investment. At a later stage, I'll spell this out in more detail. But that is a part of our reform. Yes. Now, Madam Speaker, moving on. When someone, I just want to talk about the topic of unemployment insurance. When someone on a lower income loses their job, it can have a devastating consequence on their livelihood. And it can unravel their lives with profound, long-lasting consequences. During COVID, 150,000 Jamaicans lost their jobs and were suddenly without income. And many affected households would not have had the resources to draw and to tie them over, and hence the government responded with a care program. 55,000 Jamaicans who lost their job got payments over 13 months. Madam Speaker, it revealed a glaring gap in the social security arrangements, and in April 2020, the most honourable Prime Minister appointed a COVID economic recovery task force, and he appointed me to chair it in my capacity of Minister of Finance. The task force was broad in composition, spanning every facet of society, and the final report was produced in June of 2020 and tabled in this House. And one of the recommendations was that the government funds and completes a feasibility study on an unemployment insurance scheme for specific categories of workers within the context of social security reform. It wasn't the first time this recommendation was being made. It was made under the Labour Market Commission chaired by Dr. Marshall Hall a few years earlier. Madam Speaker, the government wasted no time, and as Cabinet approved, the Ministry of Finance undertook the responsibility of getting the feasibility done through the PIOJ, and with technical support and financial support from the International Labour Organization and the guidance of a technical oversight committee, with the intention that if it was to be implemented, meaning it was feasible, the Ministry of Local Labour and Social Security would implement it. And I must thank, Madam Speaker, Dr. Wayne Henry of the PIOJ and his staff and the Technical Oversight Committee chaired by Dr. Henry for enthusiastically pursuing the feasibility study and coordinating the consultations required. I thank the Ministry of Labour and Social Security who ably assisted the effort. Madam Speaker, I'm grateful to the International Labour Organization, which conducted the feasibility study, and the entities that participated in the consultations, the Confederation of Trade Unions, the private sector organization, and other groups. I'm happy to report, Madam Speaker, that macro stability makes it feasible for Jamaica to have an unemployment insurance scheme that benefits Jamaican workers. So, Madam Speaker, an insurance scheme can play a critical role in a stabilization role in providing income security of the unemployed, particularly during periods of economic shock, and therefore compensating partially for lost earnings. And it breaks the negative cycle of unemployment leading to reduced consumption, leading to further reduction in economic activity. So it can stabilize, Madam Speaker, and improve macro stability. And the social impact of unemployment insurance is huge. Right? Jamaica's average income is such that many persons live, paycheck to paycheck. Long been the reality. And having a job is better than not having one, but if you lose that job, it plunges the family into disarray. Several observers and commentators have often pointed to the relative social stability of Barbados. One of the big differences, many differences, but one key economic institutional difference is that Barbados has long had unemployment, a solid social security system with unemployment as a major pillar. Bahamas also has unemployment insurance, and the COVID-19 experience, Madam Speaker, my understanding is that several countries in the region have been doing similar work as we have for similar reasons. Now, how would it work, Madam Speaker? It would work like it works elsewhere, that employees would be registered and included in an unemployment insurance scheme, and for Jamaica, it's likely that those who contribute to the national insurance scheme would be automatically included. On the loss of a job confirmed by employee and employer, the newly unemployed would become eligible to receive an unemployment benefit representing a particular percentage of their previous weekly income, up to a maximum threshold for a period of time. In Barbados, the unemployment benefit is 60% of previous average weekly earnings. In Bahamas, the benefit is 50% of previous average weekly earnings. In Barbados, the benefit is paid for 26 weeks. In Bahamas, it's paid for 13 weeks. Jamaica will have to work out the unemployment benefit parameters that work for us. And, Madam Speaker, unemployment insurance schemes are not free, they cost money. Usually these costs are funded by employer and employer deductions, with the government sometimes making an upfront fiscal contribution on inception to capitalize the scheme, and treat with the possibility of major unemployment materializing before the scheme has amassed sufficient funds. The feasibility study indicates that it could cost as little as 0.8% of salary at as high as 1.5% of salary for all employed persons, with capital contribution for the government of a few billion dollars for this benefit to be provided, depending on the parameters selected. However, Madam Speaker, Jamaica has a plethora of separate statutory deductions. We have NHT, we have NIS, we have HART, we have head tax, and adding a fifth, replicating the collection, processing, and enforcement administration, and adding further complexity for small business is not optimal for employees. As such, we're looking into administratively consolidating these statutory deductions into a single deduction, with the distribution to each entity of its share enshrined in and protected by legislation. This is not a new idea, not a new idea, but there are details and complexities. Anybody who takes it up, right? Details and complexities to be worked through. However, the major advantage of consolidation, Madam Speaker, in the context of introducing a new benefit like unemployment insurance, is that initial calculations show that we could potentially introduce this benefit without increasing the headline statutory deduction rate, and with no additional cost for up to 95% of persons enrolled in national insurance. So, Madam Speaker, we're now at the point of implementation, and we can talk about that. Make an appointment.
Congratulations, Mom and Dad. Your life now revolves around sports. But you wouldn't trade it for anything. Welcome to Sport Hut. DSG, only at Dick's.
Chupa Chups. Chupa Chups Melody Pops. Taste the music.
Yes, this is appointment. Yes. So, yeah. So, Madam Speaker, we have a lot of things, right? We are expecting to sign, I believe it's a $20 million loan agreement with the World Bank, where they'll provide the Ministry of Labor and Social Security with the technical support to implement unemployment insurance, and the World Bank will assist us with many things, including the legislative architecture, the institutional mechanisms, administrative arrangements for unemployment insurance. And Minister Charles will have charge of this leg. My leg was the feasibility, Madam Speaker. Minister Charles' leg is to implement with the support of the Ministry of Finance. And while we work on the funding model and refining the funding model and optimizing efficiency, consolidating statutory reductions, and so on, in the manner described. You know, we had the consultations we had with the Confederation of Trade Union and other unions. We discussed the fact that Jamaica has in place, one of the positions of the business community was, having unemployment insurance, do we still need the provisions under the Redundancy Act? And Madam Speaker, we had a fruitful engagement in a session. Members of the Confederation of the unions felt that was a hard-won gain of the 1970s, I believe, and it's something that they're very jealous of giving up. But the conversation continues in an open, transparent, and democratic space. Madam Speaker, in doing the feasibility and so on, I had occasion to look back on the debate in this House in 1965, when Minister Newland, under the Jamaica Labour Party administration, brought the national insurance scheme to this House. They've turned it around. So, Madam Speaker, a debate ensued in 1965 about unemployment insurance. And that if you're doing NIS, we need to tack on unemployment insurance. And just to be truthful to the fact, it was raised by the opposition, Mr. Arnott. He said, hey, what about unemployment? And the government of the day said, look, I want to see unemployment benefit, but we can't do it without strong financial support. We just started an NIS. It has nothing. And as soon as it becomes practicable, this government will come back with proposals to deal with the security of the unemployed. Madam Speaker, Government changed, the rest is history. But the Andrew Holness government is here to fulfill the vision of the founding fathers of Jamaica. It was the vision, Madam Speaker, of opposition and government of the 1960s that unemployment insurance is an inextricable part of social security. But for 50 years or longer, this eluded the Jamaican people. We're going to be using economic stability, Madam Speaker, to bring benefits to the people in the form of unemployment insurance. 60 years later, Madam Speaker, time come. Time come. For unemployment insurance. So, Madam Speaker.
Wow, what you're seeing right now is an ultra-realistic AI robotic dog, crafted by master engineers in Germany. From its...
So, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. On a lighter note, I want to share a little, listen to a little exchange in that debate from 1965. And I can put it up. The member, Mr. Manley, in Hansard, says, on a point of order, Mr. Speaker, there's a member, and he points to him, sleeping in the house. Is that allowed, sir? And Mr. Jackson from the government says, while a man is sleeping, he can't create violence. And the debate just continued. No cas, but just so, I laughed when I came across it, and I thought I would share it. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. So the next time, Madam Speaker. So the Social Security Form has been an indelible feature of the Holness administration. We introduced the social pension, which benefits 12,000 elderly Jamaicans, soon to be 15,000, Madam Speaker. And Minister Carl Samuda, former minister, was instrumental in that implementation, being carried on by Minister Charles. We introduced the tourism workers pension scheme, Madam Speaker. And Minister Bartlett has been instrumental. And I'm proud to announce that we're working to introduce unemployment insurance to Jamaica. Madam Speaker, we live in a climatic zone that makes us vulnerable to rainfall and earthquake. And Madam Speaker, we have to take responsibility for our vulnerability. As I often observe, the Canadians, in response to their vulnerability of freezing winters, they have created huge underground cities under Montreal, for example, 12 square kilometers. Shopping malls, apartment buildings, hotels, banks, offices, museums, universities, underground, connected by tunnels. And this infrastructure is used by hundreds of thousands of Quebecers, Quebecois, every day during the winter. Madam Speaker, the Toronto Path is one of the largest underground shopping malls in the world. 16 miles of concourses on the line, underground, retail space, etc. The Canadians have taken responsibility for their vulnerability. They're not alone. When the United States experienced the oil embargo in the early 1970s, it was then that they started the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which became the largest physical supply of oil in the world. Madam Speaker, countries that achieve for their citizens take responsibility for their vulnerability. They don't leave themselves exposed or wait for other countries to come to their assistance. Madam Speaker, we became the first small country to launch a catastrophe bond. Hurricane season, we got support from the World Bank, Madam Speaker, and from the governments of the UK, the US, and Germany, who paid 100% of the premiums the first 3 years. And we'll always be grateful to them for that. And what we we said to them in our pitch, when we went to pitch it to them, was that when it matures, we will, out of our own resources, continue to provide that protection for Jamaica. As nightfall is there, at some point, it's going to be necessary to have it. Just make sure that when that day comes, whoever is at the helm at the time has the fund. We've already taken Parliament, and the idea is to capitalize that fund every year until it gets to about $10 billion. Madam Speaker, inheriting a legacy of debt, just a fact, our generation broadly defined, Madam Speaker, we intend to leave a legacy of national wealth, right? Where we have buffers put away for rainy days, like natural disasters and so on. And so in this budget, Madam Speaker, we are putting funds into that national disaster fund. Madam Speaker, I want to just turn my attention very quickly to public sector transformation. We embarked on the construct of the public sector transformation program in 2017, following the Prime Minister's announcement of the government's policy position on modernizing the state. The Transformation Implementation Unit in the Ministry of Finance developed a 6-year program with funding from the international development partners, the IDB and the World Bank, 6 years, 2027 to 2023. As part of the loan program, loan agreements, Madam Speaker, with our development partners, we agree certain measures that are to be achieved, and these measures are used by the development partner to assess the performance of the project. And it's with a deep sense of pride, Madam Speaker, that I stand here today to report that the public sector transformation program, meaning that loan funded by the IDB, is the first IDB program to achieve all measures agreed with the IDB within the agreed timelines and loan amount. I know me says so. IDB says so. Now, the Transformation Unit, headed by Mrs. Maria Thompson-Walters and the Financial Secretary, Mrs. Darlene Morrison, are deserving, Madam Speaker, of your recognition of this House. The audit and final evaluation of the program will be conducted between April and June of this year. What did we do differently? Given Jamaica's long history with reform, we had to do things differently to get a different outcome. We knew that we had to have realistic targets. Madam Speaker, the transformation program was built on 5 pillars, even though our minds probably just go to one. The 5 pillars were the improving the use of information and communication technology in the public sector. And you can see this as a precursor, really, to the Prime Minister's innovation of putting a digital ministry in place. The digital ministry was not in place at the time. So we had a public sector transformation, and one of the pillars under the Ministry of Finance was to go and digitize certain areas of government. And we picked 4 or 5 areas. The second was a shared service operation. The third was transforming human resources practices, compensation management, and rationalization of public bodies. On the ICT transformation, Madam Speaker, Mrs. Thompson-Walters and her team, Madam Speaker, under this government, has made significant strides in the program that was outlined. A big part of that, Madam Speaker, of that progress is that we now have a dedicated broadband infrastructure. And, Madam Speaker, many people would have heard about GovNet for quite some time and may have wondered whether it ever become a reality. As we speak, the TIU informed that over 200 entities in the Kingston area have been connected to the system, and over 500 entities, including police stations, schools, and courts, also have connectivity. Madam Speaker, this program also funded the data center at eGov to expand storage by 260%, and I had the pleasure of touring it recently. The Public Sector Transformation Unit partners with 4 government entities. So now we have a ministry who is going to, this was the precursor, as I said. So in the program, we just did 4. We need PICA to put in a new relationship management system, national fisheries authorities to put a web-based fisheries licensing system, and the work permit system at the Ministry of Local Government, as well as a system at the Child Protection Family Services, Madam Speaker, and for those 4 entities, dramatically improve productivity. On the ICT front, the transformation program implemented My HR Plus, an integrated HR and payroll management system that the vision is to serve all ministry departments and agencies. Now we have 70 MDAs that are using it, Madam Speaker, and it puts the government in a better path to manage the most critical resource, which are our people. Madam Speaker, HR and payroll teams have better access to employee information, more efficient management of employee data, better people decisions, better reporting, and most importantly, Madam Speaker, for the employee, rather than waiting 3 weeks to get a response from HR, you know, to say, how much leave I have left? So go look up some files and come back 2 weeks later and say you have 10 days left. Or ask, I need a job letter because I want to get a mortgage. I have to wait for the person to come back. Under my HR Plus, the employee is empowered to do that themselves by pressing a button. Madam Speaker.
Hey guys, what's up? Guys, I just want to give a shout out to some people. You know what I mean? Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Me have to shout out them people here. Want to give a shout out to everybody in Canada, United Kingdom, Cayman, Trinidad and Tobago, Nigeria. We have people that watch us from Nigeria, South Africa, Guyana, Barbados, Ghana, Antigua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Grenada, Germany. We have people that watch us from Germany. We have people that watch us from India, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have people that watch us from Kenya, Australia, St. Lucia, Italy, Brazil, France, Netherlands. Oh shit. Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Suriname, Philippines, Ethiopia, Indonesia. Really? US and Virgin Islands, Gambia, Spain, Uganda, Ireland, Sudan, Arabia, Turkey, Turk and Caicos Island, St. Martin, New Zealand, British Virgin Island, Bermuda, Zimbabwe, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, where the backside is, Mexico, Haiti, St. Martin. Mighty God, guys, we have people that watch us from all both. So what if he says shout out to all of those countries, you know what I mean? Big up on yourself every time. Welcome to Jamaica-87 channel. Yeah, guys, this is just a prep, you know, guys, to what is to come. 2 o'clock with the most honorable Faval Williams. Yeah, man. With the budget presentation, the big budget presentation, guys. How you think it's going to go, guys? How do you think it's going to go? Yeah, man, we not in the run with it, you know. We not in the run with it like Omar Davis. You understand what I mean? Yeah, man. We not in the run with it, man. Believe you me. We're going to keep the economy stable, and we're going to present a budget that work on behalf of every Jamaicans. You understand what I mean? Every Jamaican. We now go run with nothing, as I said earlier. We have to put the country first in everything we have to do. You see how we have been behaving physically disciplined? Huh? Yeah, man, we have to be careful, and we know that the government aware of that we have to be on par with our economy. You understand what I mean? Yeah, man, we know that the Jamaican people is looking out, because one thing with this government, you know, one thing with this government from they took government in 2016, the Jamaican people always looking out for goodies. Yeah? Always looking out for goodies. It's not like in the PMP criminal organization days when the budget presentation I read. Everybody have to bang them belly because them don't know what and what going to tax. Yeah, man. What a change, guys. What a change. Deliverance has come. Deliverance has come, guys. Remember me tell you that. Guys, I want to thank you all for the support. I want to thank you for the likes and the subscribe, the comment, all the comments. I want to thank you all, guys. I can't thank you enough for your support. You know what I mean? And I have realized that you guys support other YouTube channel, other warriors of the Jamaica Labour Party, and we really appreciate that, guys. We really appreciate that. You know what I mean? Just continue, guys, to support. Continue to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, guys. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're on our way to 1 million. The work must continue. As I was saying earlier, guys, you have to pay keen attention to the budget debate today, because say Faval Williams don't speak loud enough, you know what I mean? And she's just a soft-spoken person. Let's put it at that. She's very soft-spoken. She's not a one with vibrant as Nigel Clark and Audley Shaw. So whenever time when you see Audley Shaw and Nigel Clark I read budget presentation, and you get that vibrancy out of them, you understand? You don't look for it from Faval Williams. Please, I tell you now, don't look for it. But she's going to present the budget in her own way. You understand? Yeah, man. She's going to present vibrant budget presentation. Guys, breaking news. The veteran artist Cocotte has passed away. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. You know, say Cocotte did take sick. You know what I mean? And they have to rush him to hospital. So the news have come to us that Cocotte, the great singer Cocotte, have passed away. Condolences to him and his family. You know, you know when you come on to Jamaican music, you know, sometimes me don't know what happened. I must say curse upon the music. Come here tell us say, man like Cocotte, me don't know how them man they don't win no Grammy yet. Trust me. Me don't know how Cocotte, Beres Hammond, Garnet Silk, Dennis Brown, and all of them, man, me don't know how them now win no Grammy yet, brother. Me can't understand. After them, the quality music they were them put out. After them, the quality music they them put out. I thank God, man. They deserve to be nominated for Grammy, man. They put in the work, hard work. And I know they're not nominated for Grammy. So guys, we soon know back in at 2 o'clock, you know, guys. You understand? Yeah, man, or earlier. So have a great lunch, guys. Sooner or later, okay? And remember to subscribe to the channel, please.